In this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can test our view model. So first let's see what our view model has. We have at the top just injection of our use case, then we have some mutable state, we have shared state and shared state flow. Next we have on trigger event function, and inside of it we're actually doing all the functionality. So we're checking for our event. If it is, for example, on login click, this means we have clicked the login button, and then we're triggering, and then we're collecting from our use case. And if the use case executes correctly, we're going to be emitting data to the navigation. And if it's loading, we're going to be saying to our button that the button should be loading. Then we have our onName change, and this is when we just change the text field. And then we're updating the value in the view state. And then we have the same for the password. Whenever we edit the password text field, we're just changing our view state of it. So knowing that, let's check what's happening in the view model test. The first thing that we'll have is this rule over here, which is main coroutine rule. And I have it created over here, which is a custom one. And of course this code, you can access everything in the description. So you don't have to just look it and write it yourself. We need this rule because we have collection of flow over here in our view model. So if we don't have it, we're not actually going to be able to run our test successfully. And you can do it other ways as well, but I find it better way just doing it like this. So when we set it as a global rule, we won't have issues with any of the tests that have coroutines. After that we have our use case here and we're mocking it. And again, we're just having this setup over here because of the Mockk annotations. And we have our view model variable, which is going to be using a bit below over here, because every time, like last time, when we want to create the view model, I mean, last time we were creating the use case, but this time we're mocking the use case. So this time we want to create the view model like that. And every time that we call actually produce view model, we're going to be generating our view model. Just this is an easier way because we know that we're testing view models. So if we want to use it in any of the tests, this will be easier way of us accessing it. Next, we have again just a function that we're going to be retrieving the view state. It's just another easier access. And let's check the first test. So we can see that first we have our view model creation, like we just saw. We just use it with produce view model. And then we would like to trigger the onName change event. And as we know, when we do that, our view state will change. So we check that if the fake value that we have passed to the onName change is actually the same one as the view state we have. And of course it is, because we know that the functionality, should be correct. So yes, the test runs correctly. Then we have the same thing for the password. We're checking the password event, and then we check if the password that we have passed equals the password in the view state. Now let's check something else. In this case, we would like to capture everything that we are passing to our execute function. And we want to see that everything that we're passing to the use case, when we return it over here, we want it to be equal to the values on the top. So when we pass it to the use case, we're just making sure that those values are not lost anywhere, in the process. And we're doing that by just triggering the view model on trigger event. And then we're passing on login click. Also, we're just verifying that this use case has run with the values that we have passed. And then let's do one more test. And this will be to check when we click on login, we would like to see the emitted data. And the emitted data will be our navigation to home. So when we check our view model, we know that if everything is successful, the end event should be just navigating us to the home page. And as we can see here, when we click on trigger event, we know that the login base 64 use case is executed, and we're returning a flow of data state data, which is our success. And then we're collecting it here on navigation flow. We're collecting everything that's being emitted, and the first await item should be navigate to home. And then we're canceling everything else if there is anything. Let's run it, and it should be success. Yes, as we can see, everything works. Well, this is how we can test our view model. I hope it was helpful, and if it was, please leave a like and subscribe for more.